I actually did get invited to speak to a Kamala Harris um, event right after
Oh,
Madison Square Garden. They hit me up in the me and my staff was there in the lobby of the Peninsula Hotel and said, "Was he serious about that?" And I
oh,
was
wow.
standing right there. My staff said, "Yes." They said, "Well, we've got one coming up, and here's the information that um, you can we said, "Here's our information. You can contact us. We'll come. We'll get there at our own expense. All you got to do is tell us when, tell us where." They said, "Okay, we'll be in touch." Ghosted us. Never heard another word. They actually didn't want me to come at all. I think maybe that person got back and said, "Hey, I talked to Dr. Phil." And they said, "Are you nuts?" Because they actually didn't want me there, but I damn sure would have gone.
When I saw you speak at the MSG rally, you said something that really I thought was interesting, which was that you got up there and you said something to the effect of, "I'm not particularly political. I would have gone to a Kamala Harris rally too, but I didn't get invited." And you got applause for that. And I know you were telling the truth. And obviously they did not invite you, and we don't have to do a postmortem on what they did there. But what do you make of the fact that because you talk to both sides, because you're helping people, all the other things, you're going to these places where they need other help and things of that nature, that pushes the lens to be a little bit more on the right side of things politically, even though I actually don't know all of your politics and I don't know that you share them fully, but that just by the nature of talking to people, it's been pushed in that direction.
Well, it has been pushed in that direction. And look, when I say I'm not political, um, I mean I talk about cultural issues. And when I say I'm not political, I don't understand politics particularly well. I'm not, and uh, that's not I'm not trying to be um, uh, self-effacing about it. I mean, I really don't understand the political system. What I do understand about it, I don't like. Um, but
Right,
I've
but you
watched the
understand you
after-school
understand
special of
humans. You
how.
understand humans.
That's right. And I've watched the after-school special, like how a bill becomes a law and the little bill walks along. I get it at that level, but I really don't understand all the ins and outs of it, and I don't think I need to. I don't need to understand that. I do understand culture. I do understand the collective consciousness of America, and I think I do understand human nature. And I think politicians talk a lot about culture, of course, because they've got constituents and they understand that they have to answer the call when people have issues. And so I think they talk about my area more than I talk about theirs. And listen, I want to own the debate lane. I'm willing to talk to both sides, and sometimes there's four sides, five sides on something. And I want to platform responsible people. I'm not going to put the KKK on. But if there are responsible sides to an issue, I want to platform them and give them a voice and discuss it. But um, and I actually did get invited to speak to a Kamala Harris um, event right after
Oh,
Madison Square Garden. They hit me up in the me and my staff was there in the lobby of the Peninsula Hotel and said, "Was he serious about that?" And I
oh,
was
wow.
standing right there. My staff said, "Yes." They said, "Well, we've got one coming up, and here's the information that um, you can we said, "Here's our information. You can contact us. We'll come. We'll get there at our own expense. All you got to do is tell us when, tell us where." They said, "Okay, we'll be in touch." Ghosted us. Never heard another word. They actually didn't want me to come at all. I think maybe that person got back and said, "Hey, I talked to Dr. Phil." And they said, "Are you nuts?" Because they actually didn't want me there, but I damn sure would have gone. And I probably made 100 requests from people inside the party, inside the inner circle, to interview Biden and Harris, and neither one of them would talk to me. And the thing is, I would never have disrespected either. I wasn't
Of
a
course,
particular
of
Biden
course.
fan. But I would never disrespect the office of the President of the United States. What a bad look that is. You just don't do that. I wouldn't do that. I would have treated him with the dignity and respect that someone in that office deserves. I would have asked questions, of course, but I would never disrespect the President of the United States. And I said very clearly, had Kamala Harris been elected president, she would have been my president. And I would have supported her as my president. I made that very clear. And I said, if Donald Trump's elected, he will be my president, and I will support him as my president. I've always said that.
This month, Tax Network USA is celebrating American Pride Month with 10% off all services honoring freedom, resilience, and financial independence. If you missed the April 15th deadline or you have back taxes, don't wait. The IRS is ramping up enforcement fast. Penalties can hit 5% per month. The good news, Tax Network USA can help. Whether you're self-employed, run a business, or your finances are a mess, their experts know how to get results. Consultations are free, and acting now could save you from wage garnishments or bank levies down the road. Call 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/Dave to get started. Take advantage of this month's sale for 10% off. Well, they were paying a lot of the celebrities a lot of money to be on stage with her. Maybe they couldn't afford the Dr. Phil fee. Maybe your honorarium's a little, you got too many zeros in there, my friend.
Yeah, I didn't get paid doodly squat for showing up at Madison Square Garden, I tell you for sure.
Let me ask you one other thing, and then why don't we pick this up? I'm gone for August. Why don't we pick this up beginning of September when my brain has fully reset and you can see what you can kind of squeeze out of the orange there. But let me ask you one other thing just on the personal side, because you don't talk that much about your personal life. I'm wondering, how has it been for you? Couple decades now of public life, of fame, of money, of all of the stuff that everybody kind of wants in some weird way. You got all that stuff, and how does that relate to the guy that you used to be, I suppose?
Well, Dave, I grew up really poor, and I've never been afraid of pork because I know how to do it. I've had a lot of practice at it. Honestly, I've been where I didn't have a house at all, and I remember I started high school in an apartment with just my dad, and we had a one-bedroom apartment we shared, and we were glad to have it because I didn't have anything before that. And we had an apartment, but we didn't have any utilities. It was in Kansas City. And let me tell you, it got cold. It got dark at 4:30, and we didn't have any lights. We didn't have any heat. And it was that way until January. And it gets pretty cold up there. And we didn't have hardly any food to eat. And I've been in that situation. And I feel very fortunate and very blessed to have enjoyed some success, and being recognizable. When you got a head like this, you're pretty recognizable.
And you're tall, man. We met for the first time, a year ago at Mar-a-Lago. I knew you were tall, but you're tall. What are you? You got to be 6'5" at least, right?
Yeah, well, you're no minnow. I mean, come on.
I'm okay, but but you're tall. You're tall.
And so that's why I stick out. And and then when I talk, people go, "Oh, yeah, I recognize that voice."
Yeah.
But I appreciate that. I don't think I've ever said no to somebody that wanted to take a picture or get an autograph or whatever. Fans are hard to come by, so you better take care of them once you have them. And I appreciate people that take time to say, "Hey, I've been watching you for a long time. You helped me with this, you helped me with that." And I really appreciate that. And I appreciate people taking time to say hello. And I'm fortunate that Robin and I have two boys that are now grown and have their own families. I got 4 grandchildren, the 15 and 13-year-old I mentioned, and a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. Well, now they're almost 4 and 3. They grow so fast, and everybody's healthy and everybody's happy. And, those are the things that really matter. And I really appreciate that. And I love what I do. I've got one of those get to jobs, not one of those got to jobs.
No.
I look at it as a job I get to do, not a job I've got to do. And that's that's a pretty good deal. I know you feel the same way because we've talked about it. And these are things that, not every day's the same. Not every day's fun. Some days you wish you could uh, stay home, stay in bed or whatever. But most of the time, I'm really excited to get to go do what I do. And that's, this deep into it, that's a pretty good deal.
For more insightful conversations on how to live the good life, go to our lifestyle playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a wide variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.